Welcome back again. It's now June, although I'm going to actually start this June update video with a little footage from late May. So I thought I should just quickly film these clem flowers before they vanish, which I suspect will be very, very, very quick, because last year it flowered exactly one flower and it lasted like literally a day. Didn't even take a proper photo of it, and then it was all sort of rotted and eaten away looking, and I thought it was snails, but looking at this one flowered about 3 days ago, but it's already looking all sort of rotten. This one is still emerging, and this one is also still emerging. So I'm hoping this rottenness it's not like a disease or something, it's just because it's been soaking wet and battered around by the wind, but I don't know. It doesn't look good at all, does it? Well, it's a rotten, rainy day, and it has been all day. But nevertheless, I came out and planted some forget-me-nots. Because they were just sat in this ice cream tub. My parents had put them in, having dug them out of their garden, some excess, given that they spawn themselves quite readily, given the chance, which they had done in my parents' garden. So they dug up a load. I've waited the last 3 days for it to stop raining. So the soil that they were sat in, I didn't realise at first, didn't sort of twig that that's not a plant pot, that's a ice cream tub, so it didn't drain, so it's just sat in water and turned into an absolute sort of clay mud. So I don't know if they'll actually survive or if all the roots are just going to be totally rotten, but anyway, I've managed to plant some to achieve my desired effect, whereby when you stand here and you look all the way along the line, there's some tucked under the St John's wort there, which isn't technically in this bed, but looking along this angle it will blend into it. There's some here next to that silver snow, and then some just the other side of the rose campion as well, to add to the ones down this end that I'd already got myself. So that's that. There's also some nigella that's snuck in with the forget-me-nots, which is excellent because I also want nigella to spread all the way throughout the bed in exactly the same way. I want everything everywhere, which sounds a bit stupid as a planting scheme, but to show you what I mean, this, which I think is violet, it's everywhere. This, Robert, everywhere. So the weeds are happy to pop up in all corners. Let you see more violet, more herb Robert, all throughout the bed. So I basically want to replace those with forget-me-nots and nigellas and things that are equally sort of just bubbling up through the plantings in every tiny little gap, but in a way which is fitting with my colour scheme. So there we go, planted forget-me-nots. I think the amount of rain that we've had in the last few days is more than even British plantings want or need. As you can see, this is all sort of collapsed over sideways. Everything's just looking a bit disastrous basically. The worst part of it is these clem flowers. Let's just look at the state of them. Rotten and fallen apart just because they've been relentlessly drenched by the rain and battered by strong winds. ever since they flowered. So that's kind of annoying. But there we go. Anyway, so now we come back to June. You can see why I had to cut to the May footage, because the forget-me-nots are invisible. They're no longer flowering, and even the leaves look a little bit like the plants might just be dead rather than over, if you see what I mean. These forget-me-nots at least still have green leaves. These ones have just about green leaves, but these ones look all brown and dead, and so do these ones that I put in over there. I'm not sure if that transplant worked, but summer has come to the sidebed. Look at all these lovely colours. Oh dear, the sun goes in. It's not helpful. So, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by the sun going in. Spring's kind of worn off, and in fact, in the 10 days or so since I started filming that and then abandoned it when the sun went in, most of the snow in summer has even stopped flowering, but more of the rose campion has started flowering in white. The purple sage is not looking super flush with healthy growth, to be honest. This blue sage is doing somewhat better, flowering a bit more strongly, leaves look a bit more the right colour and vigorous growth enough. We've got some nigella just starting to do their thing, and of course the lavender coming out as well now. What's really popping off right now is the bellflower on this wall. I did nothing to create this, it just did it itself. Yeah, the bees and other pollinators are absolutely wild for this stuff. Can't get enough of it. See, they're all over it now. So here we have a viola that I bought at the garden centre when I went there to get some wire, because I had this grand scheme to train the honeysuckle in particular. It's been really blowing up lately. So I've got 1, 2, 3 new shoots reached the trellis, and if you look, I already had 1, 2, 3 the previous year. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 minus 5 is 1, so I figured I can spare at least 1 shoot to come off and wrap around the corner and join in with this guy, which is not doing a terribly convincing job of filling this trellis. And conversely, I can take this guy up and round here onto the west facing side, where it'll get a bit more sun and hopefully boost the whole plant on the north side, and obviously cover the whole corner of the shed with lovely green leaves and flowers and whatnot. So yeah, I just went to get some wire, but obviously you can't go and get wire and see those plants and not end up getting a plant. So I did get a plant, but I've sort of had it sit there for the last few days. I don't really know where to put it. It was like one of those times where I just bought it because how can you not buy a plant? But actually this bed is getting to the point where there isn't a lot of room. So there's a gap here, but that only gets 6 inches tall, and it would be nice to get something that's at least up here, because this seems, the sage seems way too just suddenly is really high out of nowhere. And yeah, and then there's another sort of gap down there, but again would be nice to be higher, so somewhere along the front basically. I think I might try and replace this. Okay, so there we go, planted that viola. So I mentioned the nigella earlier, I forgot to show you the blue daisy bush. The bush itself looks really scruffy and like I should have pruned it or something, but it is flowering again, which is a good start. Also, what have we here? Oh look, I've been tempted down the garden centre again. What we have here is another climber. I figured there's probably enough soil on that just to get another one, sending it both ways. This side to get more sun, and this side to fill in the gaps. I've also got one of these. Let's put it in the sun. So that is a lamium, dead-nettle. So I've got that because these clem roots, apparently they like to have their roots in shade. As you can see at the moment it's just bare, so in another hour or so when the sun comes around another tiny bit more, that gets in full sun. So I thought if I plant that sort of there, it'll grow out over the roots. Quality. Well, here we are. I've planted the Asiatic jasmine. So it's not good filming conditions because it's shadow, bright sunlight. Camera doesn't quite know what to do. Planted in this side, which is north facing, even though it supposedly prefers full sun. But I'm hoping that will be alright because substantial amounts of it have been brought around here, where it is getting big hot midday sun. During summer it will get evening sun on here as well. So hopefully that will be enough sun to fuel some growth on the north face. So you can see I've got one coming off sideways to go across the trellis. Another one coming slightly less sideways but still substantially sideways there, and then one coming up directly this bit. Might send that backwards and forwards. A couple going around that way, so yeah, all good. Look, we've got friendly bee stroke something. So yesterday I forgot to film this dead nettle after planting it, but there it is. Hopefully going to work out okay. Can't see any major reason why it wouldn't. This is an interesting one down here by the Bruno. Is a blue lobelia. This is, I think, the very last remnant of the first plants I put in that just came from Asda. like umpteen for a fiver, summer bedding. They'll die when winter rolls around, plants. And 2 winters later, one of which had some frost sufficient to kill off a sage that's supposed to grow in Austrian mountains, this little chap's still here. Fair play to you.